Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about how to crack coding round for Accenture 2024 if you are going to appear for this. So we are going to discuss about everything that you need in order to crack the coding questions as well as what kind of a questions that have been asked in the previous year we are going to solve in this video. And make sure you be till the end of this video so that I'm going to give you some assignment for you as well. So basically in this one, let's start with the first thing that I want to tell you about this that make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because there are a lot of companies are going to hire this placement season and we are going to put all the information about these placements on this YouTube channel. So make sure you stay updated with that. And now let's coming back to the Accenture coding question round. So you are given basically two questions and these two questions you have to solve in 45 minutes. So and we have seen that they are sometimes they are inconsistent with that. So sometimes in the previous exam we have seen that sometimes they might give you three questions as well, and that you have to solve in 60 minutes. So make sure you will be prepared for both the scenarios. So it's up to how this is going to be. And in terms of program language selection, so you can write a code or submit the solution in the language that you are comfortable with. So you will get the options for C, then C++, you will get like Java, or you can select Python. So basically, these are the main programming languages that in which you can submit the solution for, and then you have to like select the one which you are most comfortable with, and that's it. So now, in order to crack the coding question, so you have to submit one partial submission is acceptable, and one complete output you have to get. So you have to get the correct output, and for one of the question, even the partial submission is okay in order to crack this. And this is when you get the two questions and you get the time for the 45 minutes. But in the same case, when you have three questions and you have the time for the 60 minutes, so you have to complete two questions and one partial submission is okay. So in this way, so make sure to clear out this so you will get prepared well for this round. So now coming back to the first question, let's discuss what was the first question. So this was the actual question been asked in the previous year. So we are going to discuss this, and also I'm going to give you a solution as well in terms of the programming, all the programming language that we have. So first thing we have here, let's get started with the question. So you are tasked with a complex matrix operation. So and you will need to input the size of the matrix and then provide the elements of the matrix. So it can be there's no clarity that we have a one dimensional, two dimensional. So basically we'll assume that it's going to be a one dimensional matrix, or you can call it as an array as well. All right. So now the main matrix must be divided into two sub matrices. You have to again divide. Then for even index elements and for the number of for the other odd index elements. Following this, you are required to sort both the even and odd matrices in ascending order. All right. Then finally, you must calculate and print sum of second largest numbers from both the matrices. So now let's see. So we have one of the example with this. So let's try to understand the example first. So here, as we have given the size of the matrix, which is 5. So this is size of an array. We have a list here in terms of if we talk about the Python. So where we have the 5 elements, and in that, so these are all the 5 elements that we are going to put. Let's say 3, 4, followed by we have 1, 7, and 9. So this is the length that we have. And all these 5 elements, so we have to divide them in terms of two sub-matrices, right? So one is going to be for the even numbers and one is going to be for the odd index numbers. Not exactly the numbers, but the index values. So for example, for the array, we have index which starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, all the indexes which starts with the odd numbers, like these are going to be in the first. So we can create the first as an odd number. So we are going to write as 3, and then we have 1. Then we can have 9 as in a one array. And then the second will, which having the index of 0, then we can add. All right, so basically not this. So this is what our became even size. So we can call it as even index, and we can call it as odd index. So odd index will become 4, and then we have 7. So this is what odd index. So again, after getting this index, we have to sort them. So once you sort that with the ascending order, so these are going to be like this. So we have 1, 3, and 9. and the second one will become 4 and 7. It will be as it is. There is no changes. Now, once you get this sorted arrays, like for the even and for the odd, so we have to pick the second largest number. So now, what is the second largest number we have? Is the first largest is here we have 9, and here we have the 7. So apart from that, here we have 4 in the odd, and we have 3 here. So you have to perform the addition of these two numbers, and which will be 7, which is what accepted. So which is what expecting from the output. So now this is what we have to do. So let's go to the coding terminal here. So here I'm going to use VS Code. So let's switch to VS Code. All right. So here we have as I said, we have the solution for this same program for the multiple programming languages. So because we are going to try out this, I'm going to explain the Python code. But along with that, rest of the solutions are also, I'm going to put that in a description. So make sure whichever programming language you are comfortable with, you can go with that solution, and you can access all the solution in the below description, the link that is provided here, right? So now let's try to understand how to solve this. So here we have, first we are creating the three lists. One is for array, one is for the main array that we are going to create, and one is for the even array where we are going to put all the values of even index. Then we are going to create one more empty array for odd indexed elements. After that, we have to take the input from the user, like what will be the size of the main array. So here, and that we are going to get into the end, because as you know, in the Python, the normal input when you take it is going to be in string format. But since we need a number, so we are going to use the int method to convert that value. So now once we get this input, we have to take the input. Let's say if you have given the 5 here, so we have to take the user input for the 5 times, right? So that's why we are using a for loop, which is given in a range from 0 to n, whatever the value that we have given here. So in that, we are going to take the input from the user, and this is where we this number is going to take the input for n number of times for the length that we have. And after that, we are going to use the append method from a list. So this append method will work whenever, so let's say all the elements that we are taken from the user are going to be in the array here. This will create all the values on this array. After that, we are writing a condition. If the number, if that index position is, let's say we are taking that, if that is number and even, so then we are going to append that into a even, or else we are going to append that into a odd array. So this will give us all the even, the main matrix, then even array index and the odd array index. So once you get that, then we are going to sort these values, because since Python has the method called sorted, and we are going to update the same variable just by passing the value, the method as sorted. In that, we are going to pass this value. So this will give us the value. And once after that, you're going to do the same thing for odd index array as well. So these are the values that we get. All right. So as we have seen with the example that we have like 1, 3, and 9, as we have discussed in the previous slide. And here we have 4 and 7. So out of this, as you know, this as follows the index as 0, 1, and 2. And here we have 0 and 1. And also let's have the negative indexing as well, right? So we want to select the second largest value. So since we have already sorted this in ascending order, so this is always going to be the second value from the negative side of the list. So that's why we have a negative index in the Python, like which we have -1 and -2. Again, here it's going to be -1 and -2. By taking these index values, -2 and -2, we can pick these numbers like 3 and 7, 4, which are like a second largest value from the list. So that's what we are going to do. So we are going to pick the sum of the numbers. So from the first list, even array, the index of -2, and the odd array -2 index, which will pick the value as 3 and 4, and which will give you the output as a 7. So let's execute this code and let's see if this is correct. So here, in order to execute, let's run this, and here we have, here it's asking for the input size we have. Let's give it as a 5, and it will ask for each and every value. So let's take that same example from here. Let's say we have 3, then second index that we want to pass as 4. Here we have 1, 7, and 9. So once I enter this, so here we have these are the values, and after sorting this, we are just printing 1, 3, and 9. And the sorted odd array, we have 4 and 7. The sum is 7. So that's how we get this output. And the same question, the answer for the same question, I have provided you in Java, C++, C as well. So you can just go, logic is going to be the same, but since the methods or the syntax is going to be different, depends on the programming language that you're creating. So if you understood the logic, it's going to be easy for you to replicate what we have given here. All right. So as we have discussed about this solution, if we compare that, so here we have given this output, and the same thing that you can see with this sort array, we have this value, right? So this is what we have for the first question. Now let's before moving on with the second question, give me a moment in terms of talking about Prepinsta Prime. So there might be a lot of students who want to get started with their placement preparation. So if you are not started yet, so this is the time that you have to start, because there are a lot of companies that are going to hire this placement season. So in order to give you an idea about what is this Prime platform, is that here you will get more than 200 plus courses in order to prepare for all kinds of courses. So it's not possible for me to go through each and every course to show you the UI. So that's why what I did is, so I have the platform specific all the screenshots here, which you can get an idea about like how the interactive the courses are going to be, and you will going to learn in terms of a lot of visuals, a lot of animations, and that makes a really good or easy in terms of learning or accessing this site as well. So here these are some of the examples that you can see, and like you're going to build a lot of projects as well. So now also there might be some people like who want to access for the interview specific preparation only. So for that we have the separate platform for the company specific. So in terms of, let's say if you want to prepare for the Accenture, so you can just go through this Accenture preparation, interview preparation. In that you will get completely about from the first round to the coding round, and even at the HR interview. So everything that you need to prepare for that. And not just Accenture, as you know, you're not just going to prepare for one company. So you might accept, or you might go and check out for different companies as well, which you will find here. And also you can get, so what happens is that Accenture might hire, like most of the time they prefer to hire through the CoCubes, but most of the time they might go with different platforms as well. So you will get the same different platforms for the same price. So if you're use the coupon code for YouTube, you're going to get amazing discounts on this current prices. So make sure you go and check out that. And also one more thing, let's say if you interact on this video and if you make the comments, and you might get the top 3 commenters might get a lucky to get the Prime subscription for the free of cost. So what you can do is basically, what are the questions that I've been taking, you can submit the solution in the different programming languages. So we are going to pick a random 3 commenters who perform well, or you can engage well in the commenters, and if you're lucky, you can get the Prepinsta Prime subscription for the free of cost. So all right, let's move on to the second question. And in this one, we have the question for, like, you have given a function which is like int and check password. We are going to take a parameters, like, which is the first is you're going to take a string, and the second is value that you're going to take a number. All right. So now the function accepts string of size n as an argument. So as you can see, this is the string that it's accepting, and implement the function which returns 1. So whenever it should return 1 if the given string is a valid password. So we are going to check a condition for whenever user enters a string, is it going to be a valid password or not? Or else you have to return 0 in case the password is not valid. So for example, let's say whatever the string that has been given by the user, if it is valid, then we have to return 1. If it is not valid, then we have to return 0. So string is a valid password if it satisfies the below condition. Now how you are going to make that what is a valid statement and what is a invalid string that we have. So the first condition is that at least 4 characters. So what is the password that we are going to collect from the user? It might be the length of the password must be minimum 4, and at least 1 numeric digit. That should be one number which should be present in the string that is passed, and then at least 1 capital letter. So it should consist of 1 capital letter and must not have space or slash. So like any special characters like space, I can show that as a string, or even slash. So these characters are not allowed. So in the case whenever the string or is given by the user, if that contains either a space or slash, then it must return to 0, saying that it is an invalid. Then string character, starting character must not be a number. So basically, whenever this password or the string that is given by the user, if it starts with the number, let's say if start with 4, A, B, C, and Z, something like this. So because just it is starting with the number, then you need to disqualify this, or you have to return 0, saying that this is an invalid. So these are the conditions that we have. Let's look at some of the examples. Alright, so first assumption that we have here is that whatever the string that it is entering, it's need not to be empty. So that means there is going to be some value in the string, so we cannot pass an empty string. So now, given this example, this is the first input that we have, and here we have a small case, we have capital, we have underscore, we have number, and it is returning as 1 and saying that here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 character, which is more than 5. So that's why this is a valid. But now, in the second one, we have a number. Let's say it was like this, A987. Then there was a space, ABC01. And because of this space, which I think I forgot to mention that, so that's why it is returning the output as 0. Because it's not the underscore. Do not confuse this with the underscore, because there is supposed to be a space in the string. So that's why it is returning 0, because we have said that. Alright, so condition says if it consists the space or slash, then it should return 0, because that is an invalid that we have. Alright, so now let's move to the platform that we have here, VS Code, and let's look at the example. Here for the password checker, let's go to the Python, and let's see. So here we have the function, and this first line that we are writing a definition for the function. So this function is basically, let me clear the screen here first. So that's why we can get an easy visual. Alright, so I hope now this code is visible to you. Alright, so I hope this is visible now. Alright, so the first thing that we are doing here is we are basically picking, this is a function definition, starting with accepting the two parameters, s as a string, n as a number, or we can say as a length. So if the first condition that we have is if the length is less than 4, then it should return 0. So that's why we are checking here if length n is nothing but we are going to pass a length of that number of the string. Sorry. So now if this is 0, then it will return 0. If this is less than 4, then it will return 0. And let's say if the string starts with first digit, like the first character of the string starts with the number, then it will return 0, because that's why any string, let's say if it's starting from 1 and A, B and C, then 0, something like this. So the first digit, how we can access it, that by since the strings in Python are subscriptable. So like how we access the list, so we can access this first by passing the index 0 of the string, and we are going to check with this method .isDigit, which will check if the value is digit or not. If it is digit, then this condition will get true and it will return 0. So after that, we are going to count the capital letters. So like we said, that should be like, let's go back to the condition here. So we have, let's at least one capital letter that we expect in the string, right? So that's why we are going to keep a counter. So we are going to get this variables as capital letter and for the number as well. Since we have both the condition to be matched, so either there need to be one capital letter and one numeric digit. So that's why we have assigned 0 initially here, and that we are going to check if they have like capital letters here. So and the counter for the number, and we are going to use the for loop in order to go through and check each and every character. So in that, if we have, let's say if you found for any of the index, there's a space or there's a slash, then it's going to return 0. Also, we have to check for the capital letter. So we are going to see if anything between capital A to capital Z, then we are going to update the value of this variable. So this is cap plus 1 equal to 1 is nothing but cap equal to cap plus 1. This is the shorthand we can write for the same. Then else, if there is a digit and that we have, we are going to increment the counter for the number as well. So this is how, with this for loop, we are going to get the values for this cap variable as well as number. And if there is anything that we find a capital letter or if there is any digit, So we are going to update these values. After that, we have to check if the value, so if it contains like more than one value. So that's why if it is greater than 0, if it is greater than 0, then we will return 1, or else we will return 0. So this is what the function that we have. So to this function, we have to pass a value, right? So for that, let's take a string from the user, so that we can take with respect to the input method. And as you can see here, we are not going to use any int method or something to convert that, because the value that we want is in a string format. And this a is going to calculate the length of the string. So let's say if I given a string like this, or 1, 2, 3, and a capital, so it is going to calculate how many characters are in there, and it is going to store in this variable. And these are the two values which we are going to pass to the function that we have written, and we are going to store them. So we are calling a function here, check password. So this is a string. Let's say if this is my string, it will go here, and whatever the length, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the 9, so which will go here, right? And once we pass these two values, then you can check here. So here this string will have the string that I have given as an input, and this will take a length of that string, and then it will perform the rest of the function as we have discussed. So it depends on that. So it will take the input, and it will return either 0 or 1. So now let's execute this code. Here we have, and alright, so it's asking for the string. So let's give a valid string first. So that's say, let's see A, B, C, and it is containing one number as well. 1, 2, 3, and any capital characters A, B, C. So let's see. So since this is a valid, because it has a numeric value, capital letters, it does not contain space or slashes. And let's give one of the characters which is like invalid string. So in this scenario, let's give the same example. Like I said here, that we have missed to write a space. So now I will show you why this will be a output as 0. So this was supposed to A987, then space A, capital B, and C012. So I hope that is correct. Alright, so now let's execute. So here, alright, so basically we have to run this command first before giving the input. Alright, so now execute, and this is the input that I want to give. Okay, so now we have the output as the 0, because it contains the space, right? So that's why. So this I missed here in terms of giving that space. So that's how you can solve this, and not just with the Python code. You can check the remaining as well, the programming languages, as I'm going to attach these codes in the description. So you can just go and check this. So whichever programming language that you are comfortable with, just go and check that, and make sure you write your own solutions as well. So if there's something that you have, since each program can have multiple solutions. So if you're coming up with some different solution, make sure that you add into this. So that's why. And one last thing that I want to tell you is that there are more than 30 plus companies are going to hire soon. So make sure, if you want to stay updated with all of the placement regarding updates, so make sure you follow us on all our channels on Instagram, WhatsApp, Discord, LinkedIn, and Telegram. So all the links are given in the description as well. So go and check it out. And in the last, so to get all the updates regarding the placements, and if you want more videos like this, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and let us know in the comment section as well what are the videos that we have to cover which are going to helpful in this placement season. Alright, that's it for the video. Thank you all for watching this.